Good, happy Saturday afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Saturday afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this afternoon, so let's begin. First up, second New Hampshire resident dies from coronavirus. A second New Hampshire resident has died from the new coronavirus, officials said Friday. A man over 60 with multiple underlying health issues is the state's second fatality related to COVID-19. He was a resident of Hillsborough County. There were 29 new cases in the Granite State Friday, bringing the total to 187. Friday was the first day of a stay-at-home order, which Governor Chris Sununu issued a day earlier. The order, as well as statewide school closures, will be in effect through May 4. Non-essential businesses will be directed to stop in-person work beginning at midnight Friday. That was yesterday. He gave a list of essential businesses including healthcare, grocery stores, gas stations, hardware stores, and more. The state's seacoast beaches are closed as well, an attempt to prevent people from congesting there as the weather gets better. Baker and First Lady visit Red Cross in Dedham and calls for blood donations. Last week, U.S. Surgeon General Adams asked Americans to donate blood during the coronavirus crisis. Their visit comes aimed nationwide calls for blood during the deadly coronavirus crisis, despite the need for social distancing. Baker said that due to the closures of schools and public centers, many blood drives have also been suspended. Nationwide, 300,000 units of blood have gone uncollected, according to a spokesperson for the Red Cross. One person's blood donation can save up to 3 lives. In Massachusetts, donating would ensure there is a significant blood supply in hospitals across the Commonwealth, Baker said. Baker's press conference was his first appearance since Massachusetts Public Health Commissioner announced she tested positive for COVID-19, the disease caused by the new coronavirus, on Friday. Baker called a rabid disaster, suggesting she is following the proper protocol of social distancing. Baker says he hasn't been in the same room with her for about a week. Baker said he does not plan to be tested because he has not displayed any symptoms. Baker said when he entered the donation center on Saturday, his temperature was 97.7. Baker and his wife serve on the board of the American Red Cross of Massachusetts and has advocated for blood donations in the past. Sixteen healthcare workers in Maine test positive for COVID-19. Health officials on Thursday announced 13 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the state's total to 155. Vermont governor announced 183 COVID-19 cases, 10 deaths in the state. Rhode Island has its first coronavirus death. Governor issues a stay-at-home order. The governor also banned gatherings of more than 5 people and ordered anyone coming into the state for non-work purposes to quarantine for 14 days. 27 coronavirus deaths, 1,291 cases in Connecticut. Connecticut now has 27 coronavirus-related deaths in 1,291 cases statewide, according to the governor. The 279 new cases was the biggest single-day jump in 3 weeks since testing began, the governor said. In China, all but a few new coronavirus cases being reported are now imported, leading the country to tighten its borders to prevent a second wave of illness. Let's take a listen to that video from the Today Show NBC News.
We do want to head overseas now, where life is starting to get back to normal in some places. In China, where the coronavirus outbreak exploded just a few months ago, now some businesses are reopening and people are getting out and about again. But could it lead to a second wave of illnesses? That's the question. NBC's Janice Mackey-Freyer has more from Beijing. Janice, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kristen. All but a few of the cases that are being reported here now on a daily basis are so-called imported cases. These are people who are coming back into the country from other areas in the world that are now posing a higher risk. So like a lot of countries across the region and around the world, China is increasingly closing off.
This morning, a reversal of fortune. China tightening its borders, banning foreigners and cutting flights to prevent possible cases of COVID-19 from entering the country. The number of new daily cases here dwindling, while worldwide numbers are soaring.
These are tragic numbers, but let's also remember that around the world, more than 100,000 people have recovered.
2 months into the pandemic in Asia, no country is yet declaring victory. There is progress, though. South Korea marking its first day with more recoveries than confirmed cases. And in Wuhan, the first epicenter of the outbreak, signs of a city coming back to life. Healthy people allowed to move around again, using a QR code in an app China's using to track cases. The concern here that even a cautious return to normal will trigger a second wave of infections. In Japan, the government is urging people to stay indoors this weekend, leaving areas of Tokyo almost empty. These measures may provide a glimpse of what lies ahead as the virus sweeps much of Europe. Among those infected, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
So I've taken a test that has come out positive.
He met with the Queen earlier this month. At 93, she's said to be in good health, while Prince Charles, who is infected, remains in isolation. With social distancing and quarantines now a way of life around the globe, the Pope delivered a message of hope to an empty St. Peter's Square, praying for health and comfort for a world in great need of both.
The other worry here is asymptomatic cases. These are people who test positive for carrying the virus but don't show any symptoms. Here, they're not included in the official statistics, though there is thought to be thousands of them, and officials claim that they are tracking them. But the worry is that as restrictions are relaxed to try to revive the economy here, more people are going to be moving around, and that's going to open new transmission routes for the virus. So the steps being taken here are cautious, because the stakes are still high. Kristen?
really important cautionary point there. Janice Mackey-Frayer, thank you for that report.
Yeah, that's a concern here as well, those people who are asymptomatic.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.